Good morning, everybody. I'm Ozzy. I will be taking over for Soul Blazer as host this morning. Just to remind everybody, we have a fantastic race between StingerPA and eLmaGus coming up here. We do have a donation bid war for who to name the characters, with the two top donated names being the runners' choices. Currently, we have Everhate in the lead with $285 and Floor 2 with $275, with Soul Vapor at $45. We're beginning closing this off very shortly here with the race just coming up, so if you wish to make a surprise snipe, this is the time to do so. I do gotta have a couple donations. I will definitely take the time to read off here. We have $20 from Dr. Barber saying, "Shout out to the mods. Great mod support in the chat today. I appreciate all the time they're putting into making the chat peaceful. Thanks to all the runners running today. Love the commentary from the couch as well. You got a lot more great commentary coming up here very shortly, I promise you." We also have a $9.99 donation from Lanza saying, "This is my third year watching RPG Limit Break, and every year it's been full of great games and great players for a great cause. $5 to suplex that ghost train, and shoutouts to my boys Serum and Simp Jones for bring me that stuff." Thank you very much. We also received $20 from Professor Ness saying singing percent is best percent. We also have $10 from Magic Emperor Galleon. Yes! Saying the RPG check was correct. The Vile Tribe would never kidnap any of them after hearing that song. Remember to eat your Wheaties. Now, excuse me, I must run away while laughing maniacally. Thank you very much. Just to let and I'll read off one more donation here because we're just about ready here. We have a $10 donation from Barbaros saying eLmaGus, Magus Waifu, Magus Waifu, Magus Waifu. I'm going to have to look up these emotes. I'm sure I can look at chat and chat can help me out. Thanks, Chad. I'd like to take this moment to say we just got a $1,200 donation from the Yeti saying, "Hey all, Yeti here. We're super excited to be back at RPG Limit Break. Thanks again for having us. Our amazing artists worked extra hard designing our rad tees this year, so we want to give a huge shout out to them." Wow, that was a bad one, wasn't it? Huge shout out to our designers. So Tiffany, Mark, Jamie, Chris, Travis, Ken, JMV, Drew, and Coinbox. Thank you very much. Don't worry, guys. I'm putting one in the curse jar. I swear. I got a few more donations. I could definitely take the time to read up with 100% less swearing. We got $25 from Mystic7 Gaming saying, "Goose! Excited to catch a race, brother. You can dude it." Kick 20 of this to your choice and the other 5 to my favorite handbag wearing maniac Bowie. I'm not actually sure if he's around. Bowie's probably sleeping. Yeah. We also have $20 from Zorkun saying, "As someone who has been diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome for over 14 years and recently had depression and 2 forms of social anxiety added, seeing this kind of support really helps no matter where in the world it is." We also have a $500 donation from Arulix. I'm probably butchering that, but he says simply Komodo hype. Thank you very much. All right. Well, we are getting our tech is currently hard at work at getting this race set up, and it's obviously going to take a little bit longer here. I would like to remind you all of the Eddy, and they do have some fantastic shirts they are selling, a part of a special promotion with RPG Limit Break. There's 8 fantastic tees that they have on sale. One of which I particularly like because it's from a old PS1 RPG known as Legend of Gaia. And the background of it, I swear to you, looks like a giant head of broccoli. It's fantastic. It's great. But that's okay. It's supposed to look like a giant head of broccoli if you've ever played the game before. I'd like to take this moment to at least give a big shout out to everybody here at staff at RPG Limit Break, bringing you all this fantastic entertainment over the course of the next week. It is a lot of work, it's a lot of time investment, and it's a lot of stress. So please be patient as we get things set up here. It can be a bit of a madhouse sometime, but we love it anyways. So, who here has the best solution to blowing into a cart? Do you hold it sideways, or do you like treat it like a kazoo and just go like a harmonica? Okay, that works. I think we've got magic happening, folks. All right, I'm gonna quit rapid fire a couple more donations here. We got a little bit more time. We have $50 from Mr. Very famous Big Farm Balls, saying, "If Magus loses this race, it means Baser Beam is good." We also have $5 from Shawnee saying, "Greetings from Canada. Been loving the event. Can't wait to get there myself later in the week. Donation goes to Stinger's Choice. Go well, make us go." And then lastly, we have a 100 donation from B Dragon 28. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I thank each and every one of you for your patience, but we are ready to go here. So if you're all ready, I hope you guys all are. Ready? Come on, yeah, this is going to be an epic race. So please, take it away, StingerPA.
All right, let's go ahead and name the files.
Yeah.
Timer does not start yet. We'll let you know when.
So I believe we have floor 2, which obviously can only be taken by one here.
That's a given.
And then we
Oh,
have
clever.
Everhaze.
Clever.
Yeah. So
Nice.
the reason we, even though it's floor 2 with a number, the reason we have to do it this way is your name gets mentioned a bunch throughout this run, and if you have an 8-letter name, you actually lose over 40 seconds. So
Compared
to
to
make
having
it
a 1-letter name,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So to make it fair, I am using 2 instead of the actual number 2.
Yeah, there's a little over 5 seconds per letter in the name.
Yeah. All right, I think we're good to go.
Yeah.
Now the timing in this game is a little bit different than in other games. We're starting on after this text box basically.
Yeah.
So, anybody wants to count us down here?
Yeah, sure. If you guys are ready. You guys are ready as well?
I'm
Yeah.
good.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Giddy up. So this first stream, they just basically introduce you to the concept of enemies and how they work. They kind of come out of these layers, and when you've finished all the enemies in the layer kind of pops and allows you to step on it to release whatever NPC or animal or object was hidden inside.
Yeah, so the basic concept of Soul Blazer is that you're a descendant of the master who you have to kind of recreate or rebuild the world that has been completely wiped out so far. And
The sync
each object or each individual being is being captured inside of one of these layers. So we have to run around and clear these monster layers to free the souls from them.
Absolutely, and the strategy for this, there's so many layers that are completely unnecessary, so these guys are just going to be pathing directly to the ones that are going to allow them to progress through the game.
And speaking of souls, you already see that there is like this soul just circling around the main character. That is our source of magic. Magic works pretty cool in this game. We already picked up the first spell, the fireball. The way that magic works is you see on the top right there's the gem counter. Gems is not used for as a currency, but it's your source of magic. So for example, right now they only have the fireball spell, which costs 4 gems to cast, and each enemy drops a bunch of gems, like either 1, 5, or 10, and the soul that is circling around you is the source of the magic. So whenever they want to cast that fireball, it's gonna shoot out of the soul wherever it is. So a very big deal in this game is to also be in a very good positioning to make the best use out of the soul positioning.
Yeah, you're gonna notice this sword poke that they're doing. It does constant damage per frame when you have it held out. Right now it's their best source of damage per second, but it's really gonna be the major key factor in taking out bosses quickly.
So what they're doing here is they are trying to clear as many layers at the same time as possible. In general, there are 3 different types of monster layers. One of them being there's one where the enemies spawn, you have to kill the enemy and then the next one spawns, so it's one after another. Then there's the second type is where multiple enemies will spawn out of the same layer without you having to kill them first. And the third type is that they're just already on the screen when you get to that layer. So as mentioned, they are just trying to skip the layers that do not need any that we don't need to progress in the game, obviously.
You're going to see coming up another big strategy in this game is abusing death warps, as you don't really lose anything for it. You'll lose all your gems, but it's not as important for the places that they're going to be utilizing this technique.
Oh, no. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So if you die in this game, there's no real penalty. You lose all of your gems that you currently have equipped, that you currently have. but you don't lose like progress or anything. So this is also the reason why we are actually going to death warp a whole lot in this game.
Yeah, and it's risky because you want to set up your health as low as possible for the time that you're going to death warp. So
Yeah.
it's kind of risky maneuver.
So right now, in this first world, it's mostly about going into the dungeon to rescue some people or some objects, and to be able to progress in the dungeon even more. So it's just there's going to be a bunch of going back and forth in the dungeon and into the town again. But slowly with the time, we basically rebuilt the town out of the monsters that we clear.
Yeah, which casually is a fantastic concept.
It is a really great concept. For those who are absolutely not familiar, Soul Blazer is one of the 3 games of the, I guess, unofficial Soul Blazer trilogy. The other games being Illusion of Gaia, Illusion of Time, and Terra Enigma. And all of these games just share this kind of theme about reincarnation or rebuilding, you know, with souls and everything.
You'll probably notice a lot of sound effects and other resources in this game have been used from other games that you might be familiar with, say like ActRaiser and stuff like that. The developers Quintet really like to reuse resources throughout their games, which I actually think is a really neat idea.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So, the general concept in this game when you're fighting enemies, there is actually not that much of RNG in this game. There's a couple spots where there are very RNG heavy points, but enemies in this game, it's all about manipulation and manipulating the enemy movement. Every enemy has a very specific way of reacting to your positioning or to your behavior. And it's really all about trying to abuse that. So if you know that the enemy won't come charging at you if you're to the left of it, then you obviously want to abuse that. So really every enemy has its own way of reacting to however you behave.
Absolutely.
So for example, these bush enemies here, they are just completely random. Like that's also possible. But most other enemies you really can manipulate by trying
certain
to
layers, like you'll stand below it or to the right of it and they'll come for you, but if you stand directly left or directly above, they won't. So just small little things like that to make note of for each different type of enemy.
So that's actually really cool because it really comes down to you not making any mistakes. The thing is, mistakes can backfire really, really badly in this game because you will notice, you might have already noticed that the enemies don't really have invincibility frames, but so do you. So you can really, really get wrecked really, really easily if you just keep getting caught in an enemy. And
Ooh,
yeah,
easy.
that's what I'm talking about. Mag is setting up for another death warp again.
Yes,
Calculated.
this game likes to kind of trick you. You can get just slightly off tile by like a pixel or by half tile, and it's really hard to get back centered on a tile. Typically, you almost want to just like bump into a wall to recenter yourself. And as they're going through here, you notice they're blasting these guys with the magic, just trying to kill as many as possible as they move through.
So one item that we found, that the runners found earlier, is the Dream Rod, and the Dream Rod allows them to enter other people's dreams.
It's not creepy at all.
Not creepy at all, but that's how the game works. So the story, we go into this house, we meet this girl named Lisa. Normally you're supposed to talk with her, but the game doesn't really want you to, so she's like, yeah, who are you? Just get out of my house. Sorry for yelling at you. Please come back and listen to my story. But we're just like, nope. Just,
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have been nicer the first time.
No time for stories. Just gotta go.
Just invade her dreams and then leave.
Gotta save the world. No time for storytelling. But there is in this dream sequence, there is this lair that they activated, and that enables them to progress in this dungeon further.
Yeah, and entering people's dreams is a regular thing in this game. There's a lot of different places where you're going to need to do that, and typically it's going to give you access to other areas.
Yeah. Spoilers, we will not only access dreams of people. I mean, in general, in this game, you not only rescue or people. It's really just living beings like plants, animals, trees,
Dressers,
yeah,
non-living
dressers.
things,
It's like
doors that
everything.
talk.
Everything.
Kinda stuff you see in
In this
Millhouse.
game, the dressers also have souls, so that's fine.
I mean, I know my dresser has a soul.
Yeah.
It's like, you shouldn't wear that today. Like, okay, thank you.
Okay, so they picked up the paintbrush here, which is needed to enter this painting here. And this is going to be the final part of the first world.
Now you see Magus is still using the sword poke, but as soon as he gains the next level, his attack has been raised to a point where he's going to get more DPS by getting swings in there. So essentially from here on, the swing is going to become the primary for standard enemies, but the sword poke will still be the main strategy for bosses.
The painting is very tricky to use your magic efficiently. You have to have very, very good timing on the fireball to hit as many enemies at the same time as possible. And in general, I guess it's needless to say that you should always know how many enemies are in each layer, just so you can already step onto the layer before before it gets cleared, just to save all the frames on every single layer. But yeah, gems are not that super important in World 1. They will get very, very important at a very specific point in the game. But right now, Magus is picking up the medical herb right here. The medical herb is an item that if you equip it, you will automatically refill your entire health points if you would die otherwise. Just gotta make sure to have it actually equipped. That's the thing.
Yeah, Magus making use of these fireballs to kill these enemies just a little faster. The thing is, if you're pressing against a wall, you can kind of manipulate the orb and throw it, so to speak, in a different direction or farther away from your character. So he can manipulate the orb to not just be spinning around him and be where it needs to be.
Alright. Magus looking good. Magus is about to hit level 3 here, which we need for the first boss. Solid arm. First boss actually, it's somewhat easy to mess that up. And don't blink. It's gonna be fairly quick. So we're gonna see the boss, and the boss has 3 conveyor belts to the front of him. Now what I think what you're supposed to do is just go up these things and just try to hit him there. But with the medical herb equipped, we can just damage boost through him. Very nice fight by Magus there.
Nice.
You saw him dropping down to 0 health points, but with the medical herb equipped, he gets a full extra life, so he can take a full 6 hits of that before actually dying.
What? He didn't. He's not supposed to move there.
Yeah, that's...
Well.
At least he didn't have the medical herb equipped, otherwise that would be really bad.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
equip it until
definitely
after
be
the layer,
worse.
so.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, otherwise, if you don't have the herb to do this strat, you gotta go with this hit and run tactic that really takes quite a while, because you gotta do like 2-3 points of damage and then step back, wait for him to attack, manipulate him aside.
I just want to make sure again, like in this game, it's very easy to die. Like if you just make one tiny mistake, it's really hard to bounce back.
Yeah, this
especially
game
with tiles.
Probably like 90% execution, 10% RNG.
So after clearing the first boss, we rescue the mayor, I guess, from this city so far. And he's going to give us one of the first stone that we need. One of these 6 stones that we need in order to defeat the ultimate evil, which we still have to yet discover. But with that stone that we just got, we can move on to the next world.
The next act is actually one of the harder acts in the game. There's some very specific stuff in here. There's some very dangerous enemies that move in erratic ways. It's part of that 10%.
You see on Stinger's side, it's really hard because you keep getting pushed up because of the conveyor, but a very nice fight there. That's very good. Alright, so just very quickly going back to Magus because there's something somewhat important here. You see on the top right there, that's already a bad start. That bush enemy that came out of there, he wants all of these. There are 3 bush enemies in that lair. He wants to spawn them all, and he wants to shoot them with the fireball and hopefully kill them all. But one of them, unfortunately, already kind of. Come on, nice. Okay, got it. That's.
He got some good gem drops. You'll be lucky if you come out with more than 8 from those Sludmen.
So in this world, these enemies that Magus is fighting right now are probably the worst. Well, maybe this is like they share first place with another type of enemy, but whenever these enemies shoot out their vine or whatever that is, they are invincible, so you can't actually hit them at all. And they also move kind of
Willy
randomly.
Wonka, yeah.
But yeah, being able to clear that there in the top right there saves a good bunch, like 15 seconds maybe, because he doesn't have to go back there later. So we're starting to get to a point where gems do matter a little bit more. We kind of hope for some better gem drops here. Picking up another medical herb, obviously always important. So again, enemies can drop either 1, 5, small, medium, or large gems. It's like 1, 5, or 10 gems worth.
As the game progresses, the percentage of, or like the chance of getting the higher gems increases. Or in these first 2 worlds, you'd be lucky if you see the 5s, and really lucky if you see some 10s.
So while we see Magus taking care of 2 layers at once here, again, just to... The top layer is actually not really needed, but we just kill it anyway because it's extra gems and we kind of need them. So let's hope that Stinger hopefully gets some good gem drops here to be able to clear the top right layer as well.
There's one.
That's good. You can do it in 2 shots, but they would have to align very nicely.
Just like, it's close. Yeah, there is a potential recovery after killing the rest of these plants, but it requires the bushes to not be too far to the right.
As mentioned, these bushes, they just move randomly, so you can't really control them at all.
Yeah, just gotta react. Clears that up, no problem.
Yeah, it's too far.
They're gone.
Oh.
It's unfortunate.
As we're going through here, would this be a great time for donations?
Yeah, sure, just go ahead.
Yeah,
One or
'cause
two.
I got a couple here for you guys. I got $10 from Above Up saying, have to donate during a quintet game to show the love. Love Soul Blazer, good luck on the race. We have $75 from Anonymous saying, hey, you guys are speedrunning where I live. I'm not there right now because I'm overseas, but that's cool, so here's $75 for being where my cats are. Thanks. And we have $100 from Jester Scout saying, do not rush, but be patient. Dude.
Very wise. That's the message that plays when you die. Alright, so coming up on Magus' side here is probably the most annoying part in this entire world. Because you get introduced to a new type of enemy. You see, first of all, these metal scorpions. You can't kill them yet. They do have their own lair, but you can't really damage them yet. You need that for later. Making sure to already clear the lair on the top there.
Yeah.
Save some time later.
While Magus was fighting those ghosts and lizards, he was popping up a tile every now and then to spawn some of those fire guys.
So in this world, it's really all about not taking too much damage. The less damage the runners will take here, the more time they can save later by doing more risky strats. And this is probably the #1 most annoying enemy in this entire world.
Yeah.
The lizards. And these lizards are absolutely not nice right now.
Yeah, not just the enemy itself, but like this particular layer.
That is very unfortunate. That is...
Yeah, they can just run off down the hallway and you know, can't do nothing about it.
You gotta do a bonus lap here. So these lizards, whenever they spawn, they immediately go invisible and just like dig themselves like underground. They just go into one of the 4 directions just randomly. Obviously, while they're being down or like invisible, you cannot damage them. They're invincible. So it's really, really tough. But that you can still get damage. That's the problem. So yeah, Magus unfortunately being very low health right now. But we still do have the medical herb as a backup. But we kind of want to use that on a little bit later.
Meg's gem's looking great though.
So if you clear this layer very much on time, then you will be on a very, very good cycle. You see these lava, or very, very hot tiles, I guess. Obviously, you're not supposed to walk on them when they're
Hot?
fully... What? No, we will never do that, no.
Yeah, so typically, like, if you're this low on health, you may end up having to wait out some of these cycles. I don't really see Megas actually doing that. He'll probably just go.
Yeah. Here's another tricky part. He's gonna try to clear the top right corner while at the same time clearing this there. So far, so good. I'm gonna talk about the magic that he just picked up in just a bit. He has to pop the medical herb there already. It's a little bit on the early side, but
It should still work out in the end.
I think if he's gonna be careful, it should be fine. Yeah.
See how the
So
lizards go for me.
And sometimes
Yes.
these lizards that,
Oh, man.
like right
Yeah.
there, there's one is running away.
Stinger also not having the, also not the best lizards here. Yeah, lizards not being nice at all.
Okay. It could have been worse. It was just
Yeah.
the one that decided to run off and hide.
And this is what I mean, the less damage you take earlier, the more aggressive you can play on this part, because you can walk over the tiles while they are hot, you can take the damage. So this really it all comes down to that. Also, gems are going to be very, very important very soon. Magus is 53, that's...
That's thumbs up, I
Give me a
guess.
thumbs up. There's like 2 chests you could grab here for extra gems, but usually, yeah, you don't need it.
Yeah, one's carrying 100, the other one's carrying 60.
I'm eLmaGus, I'm the world record holder, I don't need that.
I'm not.
You are?
I mean, do we count Hulk as a human?
Yeah,
Unfortunately for you,
I was
yes.
not, yeah. No, shout out to the Hulk, who
yeah. He put a lot of work
obviously-
into this game.
Yeah, put a lot of work in this game and just...
And he's
Crushes-
also
crushes
doing
his
the
standard.
French restream right now, commentary.
Yeah, that's
Hulk.
true.
Shout
Yeah.
out
Shout
to
out to
Hulk.
Hulk.
Bonjour.
So here's, by the way, the layer that Magus cleared earlier, which Stinger unfortunately has to still clear later.
But now that Stinger has the magic arrow, taking out those bushes is not as much of a problem. The magic arrow is actually, even though it's the second spell you get in the game, it is the most OP spell you can obtain. The other ones, though some of them are a little more powerful, none have the utility that this one does. The fact
Yeah.
that it hits in all 4 directions and goes all the way across the screen is just insane.
I think the biggest advantage of that is just having to no longer anymore face into the direction you want to shoot the spell, because the fireball you always had to face the direction where you actually want to shoot the fireball.
Absolutely.
Whereas the light arrow just goes everywhere. Doesn't matter.
There's an interesting thing about magic. It will get multiple hits on an enemy depending on the enemy's movement as well as the direction that the arrow is going. So like vertical arrows will almost always get 2 hits on an enemy, whereas the horizontal arrows might need the enemy to be sort of moving with the arrow to get that second hit in.
Yeah. So Magus is coming up to a part where there are a lot of monster layers. All of them not really rescuing anything in the town, but rather just clearing up your way to the next area. So what he wants to do here is want to gather all the enemies that are just scattered around here by doing very specific movements. So by going to the left here, he triggers the 3 ghosts on the left to chase him. By going to the right here, he triggers the 3 ghosts on the right. You can see the lag here, like there's a whole bunch of layers being cleared at the same time right now.
And it looks intimidating, but it's really not that bad.
Yeah. You want to clear the lizards, you want to clear the fire elementals on the left side. Very good job there.
Yeah, you can see his positioning. If he's in that corner he was tucked in, or even 1 tile down, 1 tile to the left, the enemies will just happen to move right beside you and not right onto you.
Yeah.
Good news, I didn't die.
Hurrah!
Tier Magus that we get more of these lizards. At this point, the lizards are not that bad because like the problem with the lizards in the previous era was that the room was just so tight that you couldn't really dodge them. So right now it's more on the easy side, or on the less annoying side. Now there's going to be something very specific that Magus or that both runs are probably going to do. You will see him, like if you see these 4, I guess what do we call them?
Just 4 tiles. I
4
don't know, I call it
tiles,
walk in the box. You
yeah.
can see this box that he's clearly
yeah.
moving in.
Exactly.
He's doing that. He needs to do that quickly. He can't linger in the top left corner for too long. He's doing it to spawn an enemy, but if he stays there too long, the enemies will kind of ungroup themselves, and he's got a strat plan to take them all out in once.
Yeah, so if he did it correctly, he should kill all of them at the same time by moving with that.
So a couple of them got away.
Yeah,
It's no big
but
deal.
that's still very good. Like there are like 8 or 9 lizards at the same time if you would have just gone there. So spawning them there is a very, very good strat. Yeah, one thing you might notice, it's pretty dark. It's pretty dark in there. So there's one thing that you can, or that you obviously will do if you're playing the game casually. You will pick up different souls to help you in your adventure. In this world, you can theoretically pick up or I think it's a mole, that if you talk to him, he will grant you the power to see in the dark.
Yeah.
So you would have like a moving torch,
Yeah,
like
sphere,
wherever
a sphere
your
of light
soul
wherever
is.
the
Yeah,
soul is.
Exactly. But of course, we're speedrunning, so we don't have time for that. So we're just gonna move through the darkness here. It's not that complicated, honestly.
Magus's gems were looking pretty low, but they've picked up. He got some good drops there.
Yeah.
Ideally, you want to have like no less than 64 to get through the next area comfortably.
Yeah.
By the time you finish the boss.
So coming up very shortly on eLmaGus' side here is the hardest boss in the entire game, for sure.
But the most rewarding.
The most rewarding, yeah. So the boss consists of 3 different heads, and each of them has a very, very individual pattern. Now the problem is you only can take 2 hits of them, and if you make a tiny movement mistake, they will kill you immediately. So let's see if he can pull it off here. The first one is pretty straightforward. The second and the third one is where it gets, especially the second one is where it gets very dicey. Nice. I think we should be good. Very nice fight. That was very good. Not
That
taking
is-
a single hit there.
I played this game before. That is harder than it looks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those statues are absolutely insane.
Again, like if you just make a tiny misstep, these statues, they will just go completely out of order, and they will just move all around the place. And again, you can only, at this point, they can only take 2 hits of them. The third one will kill them. So it's very, very tight maneuvering and moving around. So very, very nicely done. This is all for 2 reasons. Obviously, you don't want to lose time, but the second reason you really want to avoid a death there is because you would lose all of your gems.
Yes.
And the gems are very, very important for the start of the third world.
Yeah, the not having gems there will slow you down quite a bit. There's enemies that have insane amounts of health. They don't take much damage from a sword swing, and they'll mess you up if you touch them.
By the way, I don't know if we have talked about the hitbox yet, but you might have already noticed that the hitbox is
Very big.
questionable, to say the least. They're clearly hitting like enemies that are completely outside of their sword range. It's because the hitbox of this sword it's just weird. It's very big. Let's put it that way.
It's pretty much like a
It's going into an
horseshoe
arc,
around your
like,
character.
to
Yeah.
the right. And that's also the reason why we can actually kill that second boss, is because we are also abusing the just enormous hitbox of these swords. You're gonna see it on Stinger again here. Meanwhile, Magus making his way through the beginning of World 3, but let's look out for Stinger now.
Yeah, so that's the reason Stinger is swinging. The
Nice.
hitbox
Very well
extends.
done.
Nice.
I cannot stress how difficult that boss is. Like, it's tiny mistake and it's all over. So very well done there by both runners. Alright, so on eLmaGus' part right now, he's...
You can see him abuse that sword throw, or the orb throw I was talking about. By pressing to the right of that wall and down, he's able to throw that sword at that angle. However, the mechanic kind of works in a funny way where if you're holding if you're holding horizontally to the wall and then press vertically, you'll stay on that spot. But if you try holding vertically against a wall and then press horizontally, your character will move.
So World 3 is the, I guess, token underwater world. So right now they can't really breathe underwater yet. So what they have to do is they have to go into the island that Magus just completed right now, which rescues one of the mermaids, which will give you the bubble armor, which allows you to breathe underwater. Now he's not going to equip the bubble armor just yet because there's another death orb coming up right after this, and if you don't have the bubble armor equipped while you're underwater, you're just going to take constant damage. But it's not too bad.
It's going to be beneficial here in another spot.
Yeah. So yeah, Mag's going to clear the next layer all while setting up the next death orb as well.
While he's fighting the DKs here, I'm going to take this moment because I got a really cool donation
Yes,
to read off
please.
here. We have $10 from Denicalis saying, first donation of the year purely for the game and the people running it. eLmaGus and Stinger are fantastic people, and a shout out to Lahulk on the French restream for keeping this game and the rest of the trilogy viable. Hope everyone is having a great time.
Denny!
So these rocks that Stinger is killing right now, these are the reason why you want to have lots of gems here. Unfortunately, Stinger has to be very careful to hopefully not die again. But these rocks, they have a very, very high physical defense, and they are just very, very tough to kill with the sword. So
Yeah, I believe they do like 6 damage to you per hit.
So unfortunately, 17 gems. He has to hope for a good gem draw. Oh,
Oh,
that
that
should
10
be
will
good.
help. That 10 will definitely help.
Yeah, should be good. Ugh.
Almost, almost. That's
I
a
have
very
enough gems
tricky.
anyways.
Yeah, it's a very tricky shot to
That's-
get all
that-
4 of them at once.
A little fishy is not helping, but you should get a level up here, which
Yeah.
actually we don't need because that's working right. But very important to not die there. Would be very costly.
Yeah, that
And like
was
you
it.
see, he's just standing on the enemy, taking that damage to lower his health, and then he steps back just that half tile. But if he steps back even just 1 more pixel than that half tile, that monkey will come up after him. And
Yeah.
it's very, very dangerous to set up these death orbs. This is by far a very difficult run.
This is definitely one of the more difficult worlds. Let's see if Magus will.
Oh, please. Please. Nope.
Don't know if he's gonna skip it or not, but we'll see.
You should ask him.
Are you gonna skip it, Magus?
Yes.
Okay, so
The madman.
there's an herb in this section which you may want to pick up as a safety, as the next section has these falling rocks that they're completely RNG, and just depending on the amount of hits you take by the end of that, you may not be in a position to finish it quickly. But Magus is confident in his skills, and his RNG, and his positioning, and his gem drops, apparently.
Yeah, right now you don't need, like, you need a couple of gems, but the part where you really need gems is coming up after this.
And he popped into that little nook there to drop the rock 2 tiles so he can set this shot up and kill all 3.
Yeah, very nice positioning there.
Just Jenny, why is he taking so much damage? He
I don't
almost
know.
died.
He clearly doesn't know what to do, so. That's fine though. He picked up the medical rope. So. No. Okay. So the general gist of this entire world is that there are like 4. I don't know actually what they are.
Mermaid
It's just
statues?
like stones just blocking the path.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
you have to rescue these mermaids.
The fishy
the
tombs.
statues, which will open up the path to one of these areas. And usually what will happen is you clear that area and then you death warp back to the beginning just to clear the get path to the next area here.
Yeah, this world is one of the more larger worlds where they force you to kind of go quite the distance to get to the next section.
Yeah. So this second part that eLmaGus is going to right now is the most crucial part in this entire world. He has to take, well, I'm saying he has to take, if I say he has to take care, it kind of sounds like he has control over it, but unfortunately that might be out of his control. But there's 2 things that he has to care about. First of all, he has to get enough gems. That would definitely speed up things a lot.
Yeah,
and
the gem drops here are very important.
yeah. And second of all, he has to not take too much damage. Right now it's still fine, he's going to get a level up very shortly, but after that he wants to take as little damage as possible, all while getting as many gems as possible. And
Meanwhile, I'm getting the safety medical orb that eLmaGus decided to skip. You just have to clear that 1 berg layer, and it opens up the water to the chest.
Yeah, it's not too long, handful of seconds, maybe 10 tops.
so yeah, Magus is coming up on the volcano. Now, we're gonna do things a little bit different here. If you played the game casually, which if you don't, then you should definitely give it a go. It's a very, very
absolutely.
great game. What you're normally supposed to do is you should grab the mermaid's tears, which you can throw into the volcano, and that will completely stop the lava from doing damage to you.
There's
But-
also an angelfish that you can release, which will stop these falling rocks,
Yeah.
but there's definitely no time for that.
And this is why the health part of the aforementioned taking care of is also a little bit out of his hands, because these falling rocks they are just completely random, and if they decide to just drop onto your head constantly, there's nothing really you can do about. On the flip side, his gems look pretty good so far. That's
Scary.
yeah. These falling rocks, there's nothing you can do about it.
I was talking about Stinger.
Oh, I'm fine.
Just squeezing out that last little tick of health, eh? The most optimal death warp.
Yeah, Magus should be fine on his gems now.
Alright, it's looking pretty good. Yeah, there's a lot of rocks in this section you want the gems for, but there's also a layer that's in the middle of the lava that is the most important thing. It's the whole reason that the herb is gotten in the first place.
That's a bit unfortunate. He has to kill that rock on the bottom there. Now all of a sudden the gems are not looking too good anymore. He has to shoot a couple more boulders here.
It's whatever. I'm not gonna get it.
Yeah, he would need 40 to optimally finish this.
This is fine.
There's
This
still
is
chance.
fine.
There's still chance for
I
10
mean,
jumps.
yeah, I could just get 10 gem drops on every kill, but you know, that's probably not gonna happen.
Let's do it.
So this is the flat-nosed dolphin. He was once a bottle-nosed dolphin, but after smashing his face against the wall a few times, he became the flat-nosed dolphin.
So yeah, that bottom layer with the monkeys coming out of there, that's what you want to kill. There's 5 of them in them, and he has to, one magic arrow costs 8 gems, that's what we're gonna do. He's also going to skip the chest on the right there. That would have been a better sword, but for now we don't need it. So we're just gonna stick to the basic sword.
Yeah, it's called the crit sword, and every 16 frames it will instantly kill an enemy. But it's not really something that you can just manip in an RTA.
Yeah, no, unfortunately Magus has to go all the way around because he didn't get to clear all that there entirely.
Yeah, you could go from the right
Very well
side
done.
if he had had the herb.
But yeah, this is the part that you obviously are not supposed to be able to travel with or to go through without the mermaid's tears. But if you manage your health just right, then you can just damage boost over the lava here and activate that one layer that we need to get to the next area of this world. So looking over on Stinger, gems look actually really, really good.
Yeah, essentially, you can't lose any more than 5 ticks of health if you want to come from the left side. If you're coming down around where Magus went, it saves you 1 more cycle of damage, so you can have an extra 4 ticks to work with.
Yeah. It's also worth noting that whenever you rescue someone in the main city, you also replenish some of your health.
And that'll just increase as the game goes on. And bosses will just give you full health refill.
Yeah.
Slow down there with the gems, man.
I know, I need to save some of them from later worlds.
It's too bad, used them all up. Alright. So Magus is coming to a part where he talks to Lou the dolphin about why the queen turned so evil and sold
Made a deal with...
basically betrayed everyone. But he also gives you, or the players, the Thunder Ring. It's a very, very interesting item where whenever you have it equipped and you're standing next to one of the Thunder Rocks, lightning strikes down from above and kills enemies that you would normally not be able to kill with your current sword, namely the metal-plated enemies that we've already seen before.
Which is curious, because there's only one instance of that mechanic used in the game, and it's right here.
It's kind of strange, really. Yeah.
It's like a little story item.
Right. If you look over to Stinger's side, we see that he has 44 gems, which is more than enough.
35 is the minimum to have it at this point.
Yeah.
And he's good to go. Magus kind of botting these guys because it's very, well, it's not difficult for him, but it can be difficult to kill those things in one cycle of them going out of their shell and getting back in.
I'm not even going to need the safety herb that I picked up.
Don't even need the safety herb.
Should have skipped it.
Yeah,
Still very nice.
I don't know.
It's very easy to just get crushed there by all those rocks, so I don't blame you at all.
Obviously, you saw on eLmaGus' side it was very close.
Yeah.
Now, the way these pillars work, they're on a frame cycle, so even if he goes up to it, it may not immediately trigger if it's not on that particular frame cycle, as that shows right there.
Also very important that he does not get a level up there because he wants Death Warp right after this, which is also the reason why he kind of moved into these metal.
Yeah, the experience in level routing in this is very specific. It's timed out to every single level is specifically designed for whatever use you need it.
It's very likely that Stinger is not going to have the same because he died a bunch of times, so he has more experience because he had to refight a couple enemies, so we will see if that will work out.
I don't have too much extra experience. I think I only had 2 extra experience at the end of World 1.
Well,
with World 1, it's not too much extra.
Yeah, I guess, it's true.
And there goes another fish tune.
Lou the Dolphin, not to be confused with Lou Dolphin, who is one of our runners upcoming shortly today.
That's
nice.
true. So
I never really made that connection.
Yeah. So while Magus is going into the final area, I think we have maybe time for 1 or 2 donations. There are.
Yeah, I got a quick donation I could read off here. I have $25 from Anonymous saying, just had to drop a little money on the game that's close to my heart, and for a cause that's always on my mind. Enjoying Soul Blazer. I'm enjoying it too. It's a really fun game, and it's always going to be an exciting race with these two involved, regardless of who's winning or losing.
Absolutely.
Megas just picked up the most important item in the game. The power bracelet will double his attacks, so his swings will do twice as much, but his sword poke will also do 2 damage per frame, or however it works out to be.
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, you've already seen that the holding, that the sword poking is already really strong. Now it's twice as strong, so even better. So with every sword poke deals 2 damage now. So coming up is the 3rd boss from Magus here.
Can be a little tricky if you don't know your positioning, as you can only take 2, maybe 3 hits from him as well.
Yeah, so first you have to kill the hands, and then, or actually you don't have to, they're just on a timer. First thing you will notice that the hitbox of this boss is not really it's not what it looks like. You know, it also changes
Hold up.
whenever he goes down. So you can see that even though he's almost standing inside of the boss, he doesn't really take any damage.
Yeah, as long as you're just in that one tile there, that horizontal plane,
Good
and then you
stuff.
come down at that particular moment. Oh, and Stinger didn't get the level right on. He's perfectly set up for his death warp.
Nice.
I'm actually not even going to get the level before the boss. I'm 18 short. Yeah.
No math, please.
Wow, like I love your math,
math.
Stinger. Jeez, that's amazing.
Always no math. It looks pretty easy, or when they're killing the boss, it looks really easy. But you can really easily just mess up. Like I think and from this boss you just die in 2 hits at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah. If you're level 9, it's fine because you get a defense point and you can take like 3 hits. But on level 8, you die in 2 hits no matter what.
There are some options. If your experience is a little bit low and you don't happen to get that level, there's a couple other those little spiky conches you could just take the time to go kill, and hopefully it'll be enough to push you over.
So yeah, Magus clearing out World 3, getting the next stone, while Stinger is making his way to the 3rd boss, just picking up the power bracelet here. 4th world. What is an RPG without an ice or snow world, right?
Oh, they just cover everything.
Yeah, of course. That's like gotta have ice or snow somewhere in there.
Some perfect movement by Stinger through the maze to not take any of those electrical hits.
I think that's just luck. Because those enemies move
Well,
a little
if you
bit.
delay,
say that.
if you delay
too
even
late.
slightly, you'll get hit by the little electrical ones as you're coming around that one particular section.
Alright, so World 4, quickly, where Magus is in. This is the world where gems probably matter the most. If I say probably, I mean definitely. If you have a lot of gems here, you will be able to clear the world a lot quicker than without.
I like this Stinger following it left, getting a few
Very
more
nice for
frames
Stinger
of
as
damage
well.
in. It's also worth noting that not only is the boss dangerous at level 8, but those little maggots that are jumping out of the ground there, worms or whatever they are, they're doing like 2 more damage than they normally would to him, which brought him pretty low to the boss, to the point where 1 hit from the boss would have taken him out.
Yeah, and the other weird thing about that boss
Did that
is-
clear?
No.
It didn't, right? Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
Magus was trying to set up like the very quick kill there for that lair by spawning the last bat and killing the bat, thus clearing the lair, but not actually stepping onto it because he's going to have to travel through the same area again. So he was trying to just get the lair cleared and then go right after into the next area. Unfortunately, he went in like just a couple of frames probably too early, so he has to clear that lair again later.
That's fine though. I mean, it's a time loss, but it's not bad.
Yeah. So we've been talking about that you need a lot of magic in this world. While Stinger was killing the boss, Magus picked up a very important item that we will be having for a good bunch of this game. It's called the magic armor, and just where you need the magic the most. The magic armor comes in, and whenever you have that armor equipped, it cuts the necessary gems you need to cast a spell in half. So, which means you now only have to use 4 gems to cast a magic missile.
Fire at will, baby.
Actually, math.
So he's going to go back, pick up some mushroom shoes so he can continue through there. There's some, the icy sections that you saw him sliding on. The mushroom shoes will allow him to just walk normally on those sections.
It's kind of unfortunate. You can almost make it through the world without the mushroom shoes. There's just one spot where you just can't get past it. There's more of these icy paths later, but there you actually you could deal without the mushroom shoes. But yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out ways to like pause, cancel the slide, and see if we could get around that, but Wasn't really flying.
Who here has forgot to put the bracelet back on after putting the mushroom shoes on?
Oh, all the
Everyone.
time. Like all the time.
Everybody.
Standard.
I mean, that's might as well be part of the route.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, a little high five going on here, I guess. Just in different spots.
I'm just farming gems. That's what I do. I was worried. It's pretty smart, Kappa.
They're important.
Oh hey. I know that layer.
That was what Magus was intentionally trying to do.
Yeah.
Is clear that before going in.
Just to antsy on getting through.
Just going too fast.
It's almost like I'm trying to speedrun.
Almost.
Almost.
So yeah, both gem counts looking pretty good so far. Magus coming up to more annoying enemies, these slimes.
This is a very interesting layer too. It's like on a timer, so regardless of how fast you kill these enemies, they're just going to keep pouring out. So even if you don't kill one, a second one will eventually come out.
Yeah.
So depending on how fast you kill the very last one will determine how quickly the layer pops to be able to step on it.
The respawn timer is just different on every single layer. This is why some of these are very annoying. And speaking of annoying enemies, the enemies that are coming up from Magus are probably, especially if you're playing this casually, super, super annoying. It's basically like the whiz robes here.
Yeah, they're definitely whiz robes.
And this is why we need a lot of magic, and Magus is very, very good on gems. 100 is very good.
Yes, if you go close to these enemies, they'll warp away and then they'll try and warp behind you and like, hit you with magic. And it can be very annoying waiting for them to come back.
Do we even know what they're originally called? Because I think everybody in the Discord just called them whiz robes.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, they're whiz robes. They
please.
shoot this. It's the same. It's whiz
They
robes.
disappear, they
whiz robes.
reappear, they shoot magic.
Yeah.
There's red ones, there's blue ones. Or purple. Depends on how you see it.
So the bats that Magus is going to fight or has been fighting or will also fight very shortly. They require very specific time. Just a reminder, we're still at the first sword, so we're virtually dealing no damage at all. So we have to rely completely on magic, and you have to time your magic very, very specifically so that you get 2 hits from the magic arrow here. That requires very tight precision there.
Yeah. It's like I was saying before with the vertical shots,
Yeah,
almost
exactly.
guaranteeing you the double hit. If the bat goes past your vertical shot or isn't far enough into it and he just misses it, then it's really annoying. But if you can catch him in that other, where Magus was first starting, he was kind of catching him in like the little corner, so you take 1 hit from the lower arrow and 1 hit from the left arrow.
Yeah. Again, you don't want to get close to those whiz ropes. They will eat a lot of time. So coming up, speaking of not having a sword, we get the Lucky Blades. Finally, we get a second sword.
It just goes hand in hand with the magic armor.
So it's going to equip the Lucky Blade right now. Whenever you have the Lucky Blade equipped, you have a much, or I shouldn't say much, but you have a higher chance of getting better gem drops from enemies. Now, the unfortunate thing is, I don't know if you guys noticed it, there is a level requirement on the swords. But he still got it equipped, so the level requirement for the Lucky Blade is level 14. So he is not really at a point where he can equip that. Well,
You can equip it, you just can't swing it.
Exactly.
So you can sword poke for damage, but you just can't swing, which plays a very important role when it gets to the end.
Yeah. So you just can't swing it. But he's still going to equip it because, again, he wants to have as many gems as possible right now. So still getting that added bonus from the Lucky Blade.
Absolutely.
Especially here where he's going to kill. He's just going to wait for all the enemies to spawn to kill them all at the same time if possible.
It looks like he's doing some lag reduction here.
Yeah.
But while these guys are clearing out these enemies, you're welcome to pop out a couple donations.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
No new donations in at the moment, but I would definitely like to take this time to remind people that we do have an ongoing incentive for the next run of Disgaea 5. We have the Defeat Ball donation incentive. That is currently $214 out of $500. If we wish to see this happen, this is the most opportune time to get this donation goal met. As well as currently $5 out of $300 for a showcase to show off some of the most crazy hit damage possible in Disgaea 5. Well over 14 total digits.
So not only does the Lucky Blade have the practicality of giving you the extra gems and the extra damage, it's also a required story item for Magus to get past this old man. He will not let you through if you do not have the Lucky Blade, which if you notice with Stinger, you can see that it's kind of hidden across these little invisible platforms. So there is a possibility that you may miss it.
Stinger is being a little low on gems right now, which hopefully, yeah, okay, great.
Problem
saying-
solved. Problem
No
solved.
problem.
Hey,
Stinger
kind
is
of.
really low on gems right now. Like I'm pretty sure it's gonna change. Mag is looking fine though.
Yes, I'm not gonna get any.
See, it's easy.
We'll see.
Mega's gonna set up for some double layering here.
I don't think I'd seen that setup before. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, I thought it was
You
pretty
should totally do it right now.
I'll think about it.
I'll join you there.
You can clap on the next boss. It's really hard.
Oh yeah.
Hard.
Oh, it's like,
Yeah,
insane.
definitely the most difficult boss.
oh, he just spoiled the trap.
Sorry.
Oh, genuine.
So
he
you will
already
actually-
labeled somebody as the most difficult boss.
Yeah. Here you will actually see what happens if you get close to the withdraw on Magus side here, but you have to just bypass. You just have to pass that wizard here. So they will come. They will shoot. I guess it depends on the color of the wizard, but it's really annoying. So
Yeah, the red ones will shoot sort of a cone of 3 fire, little mini fires, whereas the blue ones will shoot sort of a single orb that just travels horizontally or vertically along the one tile path.
nice, getting rid of both enemies here. So before we get to the boss, there's a bunch of layers that Magus has to clear here, because we do need more than just the being that gives us the stone for the next area. We need to clear more than that. There's it's going to be important a little bit later in the game.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the areas that play a very important role in the end game. So Megas, going with these layers before the boss, you can opt to do these 2 layers after the boss. Doesn't make too much of a difference.
Yeah, unfortunately, does not have quite enough gems, so he has to get rid of the last couple bats here manually. Just not a big deal.
Now, you notice he didn't proc those 2 layers. The reason he wants to wait is after defeating the boss, then when he procs the layers, there's some cutscenes and dialogue that we won't see. But if he were to proc those immediately, they start asking about the king.
So yeah, this boss is. I don't know if I have to talk too much about this boss, honestly. But yeah, he just comes out of the water. He tries to stab you with his.
Yeah, if you're standing right in the
Well,
center of him, he can't get you with the spear.
If you're at full health, you can just damage. Like you can just tank the damage.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
Every
And
single
with
hit.
4 cycles, you just kill it. So free.
If you
Very
do,
well executed battle magazine.
if you are lower on health here, you can opt to just tank the 2 hits in the middle, and the side hits you're able to maneuver yourself to avoid the 3 spikes that come out.
So yeah. See Stinger coming up on the same area. Magus, as mentioned, has to clear those 2 layers now. Those 2 layers, most important in the entire game.
Everybody's favorite grandmas.
The 2 grandmas.
Excuse me.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for those dancing grandmas.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Alright, and now that we've done that, Magus is safe to just die horribly.
Losing 2 whole gems in the process. Oh no.
Don't know if you can recover from that.
Gonna be tough, man.
So yeah, despite having rescued the king, which you would probably normally go to immediately, but he's actually not the one that is going to give you the stone for the next world. But instead it's going to be the snail gnome, who gives you the stone needed for the next world. However, the king is still needed for the very end of the game. So coming up on Magus' side, we have Leo's Lab, World 5. Leo's Lab is probably the most difficult in the entire game. Magus nods his head, that's good.
Leo's Lab is Sour Please as well.
Oh yeah, it also has the best music, so Sour Please, music, Craigasm, all the way, fantastic music. Now the reason why this is the most difficult world in the game is because almost all the enemies in this area have the metal plating. Now we have seen some of those enemies before. We can't really kill them yet. We have to find the Zantetsu sword, which we will find very shortly into this, right there. We will find that very shortly. Also this great music. However, there is a problem with the Zantetsu sword, and that is, we've talked about the level requirements. Now, unfortunately, the Zantetsu sword requires level 16 to be able to swing at your enemy. So, yeah, it's not like we're gonna grind 3 levels right now, so that means we have to kill, or the runs have to kill all the metal enemies by just holding out the Zantetsu sword and literally poking everything to death. And that is very, very dangerous in a lot of spots, because there's a lot of very, very finicky enemies that move very quickly, or where you have to have very precise timing.
Yeah, something that wasn't really mentioned about the sword swing is enemies that are on your right side or like directly above you, you can slow down their movement and sort of just stop them by hitting them. When you're hitting them on that right side of the sword, you're getting extra hits in per frame, whereas if they were on, say, the left side of your body, you would only be getting 1 hit per frame. And it really helps to sort of just stun lock enemies.
Yeah, so you see here on Magus' side, he has to kind of just keep luring the enemy away while still being able to poke him, because that's
very close.
It's very, very tight.
And when you body them, they take some good damage. They deal some good damage, rather. And the next section is very important that your health is kind of in an optimal spot.
Yeah, one of the most annoying enemies in this area are these little metal rats or whatever they are. Mice, I guess, I don't know. These things, you will notice that they are very fast, and if you miss one of them, just one of them there, they will travel all over the entire world. Like, they take forever to come back.
Yeah, they'll follow the entire border of the map.
There's no way for you to actually catch up on them. I don't know if that was calculated.
No man, please.
I'm not gonna question.
So he's going to hit this layer. It's not necessary, but in his position of health, he's definitely going to want it. These mice he's got to kill next do have a potential to body him if he doesn't get on them just perfectly.
Yeah, so we have more of those very, very fast enemies here. And he has to have very precise timing here to just kind of lure them up where they go into the left like box there, so that he can... because whenever they change directions, they kind of stop for a moment, and that's where you can hit them easy. That's very close.
Yeah, that's clap-worthy.
We're not through yet, but I think...
No, he should be fine.
He should be fine, yeah. The medical orb is very, very necessary here. Otherwise, you have to take a lot of damage. By the way, those lava tiles that we have there, we haven't talked about that yet, but they're in World 2, you could have possibly picked up the ice armor, which would help you negate the damage from these lava tiles.
Yeah, the ice hammers in World 2 to prevent the damage floor in the underground section where they were just damage boosting across the heated platforms.
Magus has to still be very careful here.
Excuse me.
Oh no!
That's fine. It's not that bad.
Was that before or after the level up?
Before.
Okay.
So, should be fine.
Yeah, that's very important that he... that he got the death before the level up, because again he will have to travel back through the entire lava section, so he will take a lot of damage, but this time he doesn't have the medical herb anymore. So he will probably have to rely on getting a level up to refill his health points completely.
Yeah, probably kill those dozers after the first section of damage floor.
Yeah, I believe Magus is very close to getting that level up, so it shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
Yep. Should be fine. Maybe.
I love it.
The reason I died is honestly, like, normally when you pull the first helicopter that was on the way there, the right there with the helicopters doesn't spawn enemies actually. But somehow that happened. I don't know why.
Yeah, that helicopter can be annoying with interfering on the other layers you're trying to clear at that time.
It's okay, we get to hear more music.
I agree.
Can't argue against that, really.
Ha! The layer was open too. Lol. Oh god.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate. It's also very unfortunate because it was like pretty much the end of this section already.
Yeah, yeah.
And he has to death orb right after the next 2 layers.
All good. I'm getting more experience. I wouldn't mind gems, please.
Yeah, that's another unfortunate thing, obviously, that he lost all of his gems. So these enemies on the top there, they're kind of tough to deal with without gems.
That'll do.
They also cause a lot of lag if they,
Shoot their bubbles.
yeah.
They do the work so you don't have to.
Yeah, I kind of want some in my house. Not gonna lie. As long as it's not shooting bubbles at me. But then again, that could be fun too.
So you see Stinger coming up on the same section before, trying to get very precise movement here. Okay,
No problem
nice
for
done,
Stinger.
nicely done.
If for whatever reason one of those mice escapes and you didn't use that layer for health, you can just proc that layer to reset the mice. It'd be a lot faster than waiting for that one that got away. Megas releasing one of my favorite sections of the game, the model town.
That's a really cool section, yeah.
Oh no, I died again.
Oh, I hadn't used my Medicorp yet.
Oh,
That's... Usually I use it on that second bulldozer, but I hadn't taken enough damage.
On the plus side, you hadn't used the medical herb yet.
Yes. There is that.
And here I thought I gave you a chance.
You did.
So yeah, Max going into the first of 2 model towns that we have.
Look how cute those little soldiers
Yeah,
are.
it's a cool section.
I just want a bunch of them on my shelf.
Being level 15, we can finally also use the Lucky Blade as a normal weapon, which is pretty nice, so that we finally don't have to rely on the first sword anymore.
Yeah, this section is another one of those areas where you need to find, well, you don't need to, but you're supposed to find a unique soul who will reveal some of these hidden enemies. There's war machines like catapults and I can't remember what the actual name for the ones with the spikes, but
Yeah,
you can't see them unless
spike
you
shooting
got that.
invisible enemies.
Yeah, you'll see their spikes come out, but you won't know exactly where the enemy that shot him from was.
Yeah.
But the catapults are the really annoying ones because they'll just lob at you and you have no idea where it's positioned. You're just getting hit for some reason.
Yeah, if you see just random explosions somewhere, just random spikes, those are just invisible enemies here.
Alright, I lost all my gems.
It's a fantastic strat by Megas there to clear out those archers.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, Stinger unfortunately has to deal with the same problem of not having enough gems, or not any gems, because of the death. But he...
What a tease, eh?
I'm just gonna take this a little bit slower.
Yeah, it's definitely not a bad choice.
Very early.
I didn't see... Did you use the medical herb now, Stinger?
Yes, I have.
Okay, yeah.
Just making sure.
Ooh.
Now the next section needs a fair bit of gems and there's no more enemies to kill aside from the ones that need to be killed.
Oh god,
There
okay.
you go.
I was just sweating for Stinger there.
I was on my breath too.
Yeah.
I apologize. I didn't even notice the clutch moment.
No, it's you got this. So,
But anyway, I was just going to say there's that chest there in that last area Magus left. If you were low on gems for whatever reason, you'd want to pick it up because you're going to need at least, well, I guess if you have the magic armor, you only need like 16 optimally.
yeah, there's a bunch of invisible enemies that he will be killing here. Looks kind of strange because there's nothing there, but somehow everything takes damage. But yeah.
You got the optimal kill. If you get 4 magic shots, take them all out. That's the best way you can go.
All right.
All right, now we just need that one there, and then we can just go die again. So yeah, you see that there's a lot of death wolves that we do in this game.
Do not rush, but be patient.
Well, the hardest part of the game, in my opinion, is over. That section of Leo's basement is just rude.
Which unfortunately means that the music is also almost over. Probably still have this last section here. At this point, the runs are level 16, which means we can finally actually, the world is almost over, but now is the time where we can actually finally use the sword as intended. Mag is picking up the light armor here, which is, unless you're absolutely crazy, you definitely want to pick that up.
Light armor is very cool. Certain attacks that would normally do just small amounts of damage will just completely ting off of you.
Alright, this would be a good time. I could read a couple donations off.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple quick ones would be good. Boss
Yeah,
one.
right before the boss, yeah. I got $30 from Ashgar saying, good luck on the runs. Here's something toward the Disgaea 4 characters. All is for my lord. We have $10 from Professor Ness saying, so we have people with souls, animals with souls. I hear doors with souls, dressers with souls. What's next? Shoes with souls? I got the
Wouldn't
answer.
surprise me in this
Dark
game.
Souls. And we have $75 from Ronan Raven saying, good luck, all runners. Everyone is doing great work. Love the commentary and the cause. I look forward to this event every year. And lastly, Dr. Cube sends $5 saying, enjoying the runs. Your mod team is doing a great job of keeping the chat civil.
This boss has a very specific technique. After he loses iframes when he launches the missile, you want to turn and face upwards. Now, depending on how well you dodge these fireballs, the boss will either do a lot of damage or a little.
It's again just abusing the just abnormal hitbox of your, while holding out your sword.
Yeah, there's basically only, like, if you count every single tile that's around him while his sword is out, there's only 2 tiles that cannot hit the enemy.
Yeah. It's also, if you fight that boss casually, the boss normally just teleports all over the place. Like, we didn't see that there because they've been manipulating the boss to move in a very specific way. But on the left and the right side are like teleporters. And normally that boss is way more annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, once you move horizontally, the boss starts going crazy.
Yeah. Alright. Mag is picking up the second to last stone that we need to get to the final world. So World 6 coming up, Magritt's Castle. Another area which can be pretty dangerous, and it also has one very annoying enemy in it.
I like that. Stinger setting up for the death warp on the catapults as he kills them.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
there's a really good death warp on Stinger's side.
So, over on Magus side, we will soon,
Be encountering a new type of enemy.
yes, the best enemy in the game.
Although I guess technically we've encountered this type already, but we never really talked
Yeah,
about it.
I
But
guess
it's
the
not
sun
the
does.
same, yeah. It's not quite the same, but yeah.
It's important that we pick up the harp string there, which is actually not in the chest. But that treasure chest holds the Spirit Sword, and just like the Zantetsu Sword in the previous world, the Spirit Sword in this world is needed to kill these ghost type of enemies. And these ghosts are annoying, to say the least. They just randomly disappear and reappear. It can take forever for them. It can somewhat like manipulate their movement.
If Magus goes down just half tile, they'll start moving back and forth across him, damaging him. It's a good way to get them to reveal themselves, but it's also a good way to take damage.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need the Spirit Sword, and again, the Spirit Sword needs level 19. So again, we can't really swing the sword yet. We have to deal with just holding out the sword, poking them until they eventually die.
I mean, the good thing about it is that the ghost will at least travel in a somewhat predictable pattern around you. If you're on
Kitty
the
corner, yeah.
If you're on the corner of the lair.
Alright, upcoming boss fight for Stinger.
There is one other enemy that shares the creature type that you require the Spirit Sword to kill, and they were those big orange suns in the second area.
Well done.
Yeah, that was some good dodging. Now this area also has hidden chests, and it's got its own little NPC that will allow you to see these chests and hidden passageways in the wall.
Yeah, so he picked up a strange bottle. Now that item we haven't seen that before, although we could have gotten it multiple times throughout every world. But if you have the strange bottle equipped while you're dying, you will actually not lose your gems, and that is really good. Mag's actually also on a pretty good gem count.
Yeah, he wants to keep his gems from this area
Yeah.
for the next place he's going to go. There's going to be a lot of use there to make things a lot more optimal.
Yeah, this is a beautiful gem count.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, like, if you're really low in this place, throwing on the magic armor or even the lucky blade is not too bad of an idea. It's just a quick menu, and it could potentially save you in the next area quite a bit.
Yeah.
I personally like just putting on the magic armor here just as my regular strat, and then I just use it for quicker death orbs.
Yeah, it's definitely important. We want to keep the gems throughout the upcoming death orb here. Makes things a lot easier. And 76 is I mean, he's even gonna get more. That's a pretty, like, really good gem count.
Yeah. Make it. So what he's doing here, you notice he's swinging his sword while equipped with his Zantetsu sword, and then switching it out to the Spirit Sword. And what's that doing is cheating the whole level requirement so that he gets the swing damage, which is much more substantial than the poke damage.
95, that's a joke, dude.
That is actually dope, yeah.
Yeah, you'd be lucky if you come out of here with like 50.
Yeah, that's already, like, really good.
Can I have some of those gems?
No. No.
So we have to use the previously found harp string here in order to progress the story here.
Does anybody remember the name of the girl that we crashed her dreams in the first world?
Oh yeah, right. That was that girl, right?
I just can never remember her name. It was something like...
Tisa?
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
This guy tells you this story about how he was in this mining town and fell in love with this girl, and he was just so smitten with her, but he can't remember her name. I just feel like he wasn't as smitten as he's claiming to be if you can't remember her name.
So yeah, you need to give him the harp string so that he starts playing his music, so that that soldier moves out of the way because he's so touched by that beautiful song. And then he drops the platinum card, which you need in order to access this tower right here. Yeah, and this is where the gems come in very handy. You see all these little boxes here. You can already start clearing the next box while you're dealing with the current one, especially if you have a lot of gems like Magus has right now. Most of these gems, most of these layers just open up the passage or the path to the next area here.
And you see him take out those 4 knights up in that corner there with 2 shots. And you got 2 different kinds of knights rolling in this section. There's ones that do the sword swing, and other ones that throw the boomerangs. And the ones with the boomerangs are extremely dangerous.
I also really like this music. The bass, though. Alright, just casually walking through walls here. No big deal.
Yeah, more things that soldier is supposed to reveal. But obviously, if you know where the entrances are, it's totally fine.
Just to see the contrast here. Stinger right now is sitting on 6 gems. I think Magus had like 60 at this point.
7.
You sure I can't have some?
No. You got them all earlier.
It's the luck of the draw.
I know. I knew I needed them for later, but the game didn't listen.
Mega's doing a jailbreak.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's making sure that that the prisoners are dead before actually opening the bars, so I guess there's that.
Those are the guards.
Oh, I see. I guess then that's not good.
So Megas is, you notice he came down here where he was a lot closer to those upper layers, but by coming down here and opening this first, he skips a lot of dialogue from the soldiers who are looking for Dr. Leo. But if he's already released, then they're like, oh, there's Dr. Leo.
Yeah, Dr. Leo being the main figure, I guess, behind all of this. He's like a very great inventor, and also the father of
That girl you can't
that
remember
girl
her name
we can't
of?
remember the name of anymore.
Oh yeah, I love what's her face.
She's great. Except for when she yells at you for invading her dreams.
I mean, so far, we have spent more time in her dream than actually outside of her dream, so. So Dr. Leo will be playing an important role in the story here shortly. We, however, did rescue the Queen of Margaret Castle, and she will, after you compliment her in a very subtle way, she will give you the VIP card, which you need to enter the last part of this world. Positioning is also very important here. I mean, it's throughout the entire game, but you don't really want to take too much damage here. Despite having the light armor, these enemies do... They definitely
Yeah, they
deal
still
a lot
hit
of
hard.
damage. Yeah.
But it's the layer right after this one that's the very dangerous trolley one. As soon as you proc it, 4 chest knights
Yeah,
appear.
you get...
Sometimes they like to just jump right on you. If you're already low on health, they do a lot of damage.
Alright. This upcoming Magus looks pretty funny if you don't have the invisible revealing soul. 'Cause he's just gonna walk up a wall here. Oh, that wall looks interesting. Oh yeah, let's just walk up there.
Yeah, the soul will reveal a staircase along the wall.
We're getting closer to one of my favorite parts of this game.
The Genya 23 dives.
Don't. Okay, just don't.
Only 23?
Don't. Okay, we don't want to go there.
Hey, I don't know about you, but I got money writing on this bird. He better deliver.
Oh no!
Place to take
Wow, Magus
Oh,
just
wow.
dodging these like a champ.
Unlike me.
Yeah,
Did you
these boomerangs are really.
Oh yeah, they do like 6 damage or something like that. It's insane.
All right, Magus is coming up to the next boss, and
Spam your jerk birds.
that is the RPG Jerk Birds part.
And for those in chat, feel free to guess how many dives Magus
Yeah,
will
so
get.
23.
We have a wow going.
23 feels like a good number.
Yeah, the boss has two patterns. He'll either dive at you or he'll move across horizontally. Now, it's kind of, I don't know, it's believed to be what, 50-50?
It's a 50-50, just as far as we know, yeah.
Yeah, as far as we know, it's 50-50. So Jenya here had the unlucky encounter of getting 22 dives before he finished the boss. Where like anywhere between 2 and 6 is probably a good average.
Well,
I mean, 2 is mathematically
Yeah.
the middle, but I mean, it never really works up
yeah,
that way.
no math, but
But please,
yeah, so
how many
I mean,
times are you going to flip a coin
you
and
guys
get
can
heads?
you guys can get your guesses, I guess, in chat as well. You know, how many dives will we get? We need two. We need the boss to move horizontally 2 times in order to kill the boss. And whenever he moves diagonally downwards, that's one of the dives that we were talking about.
Chad is mean. They're like say 999.
Okay, well that's a bit ambitious.
That would definitely even the race out.
65,520, whatever.
So I want to say like everything that goes beyond 5 is already like not so great.
Yeah.
Everything that gets beyond 10 is pretty ridiculous.
That's
I
head.
don't want to go beyond like that.
Yeah, once you go
don't.
over 10, it's head in your hands type stuff.
So there we go. Oh, but rip Dr. Leo. He sacrificed himself to kill all the. And now it's Bless RNG time.
I got more props for the soldier who took 3 spears to the chest.
Yeah,
that
that's
guy's
true.
my hero.
All right, let's go. Gotta re-equip the power bracelet. That's 1.
2.
We can all count. That's great.
Here we go.
3. 4. 5.
I'm having the best time of my life right now. All right, that's 1 horizontal. Oh, did I see a awe?
Thanks.
Is he going to? Oh, 6. Oh, 6.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Oh well.
Good stuff.
So for those who guessed 6 in chat, congratulations.
You won the internet.
Something that wasn't mentioned during that fight is Magus's positioning is incredibly important. He needs to be right tucked up to that center part of the ship. If he's any higher, the bird will go too high and the wheel will be in the way to get full damage cycles. Or if you go too high, period, he will just be completely out of your range and he'll just start blasting fire at you and it's not cool.
All right, so here we finally meet Lisa. I mean, I don't know her name.
Official.
I was just guessing.
This is official. Like, she kicked us out of her dream and now she's in love with us.
So we just basically never ever talked to that woman ever. Like, just like we've just been invading her dreams and then we got kicked out. But all of a sudden, she's like, I feel like we have some kind of special bond, you know.
Yeah, right next to your dead father, I completely understand your feelings.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's kind of strange, but however.
Don't worry about it.
The funny thing is, she goes, "Thanks for staying with me as my father passed away."
Yeah,
but
just go right away.
we just,
move on.
yeah, well, like, yeah, right, you just walk past and go to fight the boss instead of talking to her and having a little conversation with her and Leo as he passes away. But she seems to think it happened.
All right, so Max visiting the place where the queen was standing beforehand, and we do find one of the, I guess, more hidden items. If you might have missed that if you played casually. Actually, it's probably very likely
Yeah,
you missed
definitely.
that. Because why would you ever go back into that spot? But we find the invulnerable bracelets, and the invulnerable bracelet combines the 2 previous bracelets all together. So it both gives you twice the damage on your physical hits, and it also halves the damage that you take. And especially the second part is very, very important.
Yeah, did we mention there's a defensive version of the power bracelet?
Oh yeah, there's a shield bracelet.
There is.
But yeah, we don't
Unfortunately,
care about
yeah, when you got to choose one or the other, even casually, you're not choosing the shield bracelet.
that. So here we also get the story behind why actually this all happened. The king of Margaret Castle was just struck by greed, and he sold all the souls, all of the living beings, or all the non-living beings, I guess. He sold all these souls to Death Toll for 1 gold coin for each soul. He thought that was a great deal. So we are finally, having collected all these 6 stones, we can make our way into the world of evil, the final world, where a death toll is waiting. Or I guess not yet waiting, but we will eventually be able to fight him. So in this final world, we don't actually have like a town where we rescue people or souls, but instead all these layers will just open up passages, reveal treasures, something like that.
Reveal 2 of them, like the best weapon and the best sword are hidden in here.
Yeah.
You can't actually get through this dungeon without finding... Did I say best weapon and best sword? Best weapon and armor. You can't get through this dungeon without finding the best armor. The very last section of this does persistent damage to you if you don't have the armor equipped.
You will also notice at this point, even though Magus does not have the Lucky Blade equipped, almost every enemy will at least drop 5 gems, but most of them will drop 10 gems all the time.
Yeah. Oh, they flow like water here.
Also, there's always lots of lag going on here.
These guys on the outside are actually necessary, though the flies will release the path to move on. Those guys on the outside will release the path
but
to
it's counting time for Stinger, so let's
Oh, yes,
go.
yes.
All right, chat. You know the rules.
Let's go.
All right. 0 dives incoming.
0.
This is a known fact. Every time Stinger has been in a marathon run of some kind where his name is Everhate, he's gotten 0 dives. So...
All right, let's go.
Let's keep going.
Oh my god.
Is he doing it?
Come back, show me the tails. Oh,
That's 1.
Ah.
2. Not bad.
Okay.
That's average.
2 is
That's
alright.
mathematically accurate.
Feels pretty good, yeah.
Yes, math.
Rest in peace, the streak.
Actually being mathematically accurate, what is that?
So recently, Puexel, if he's still around, he was doing this for the Everhate race, and he got 2 perfect cycles in a row.
So Magus picked up the Soul Blade here, and that is obviously the strongest out here.
This weapon can kill anything. Kills the metal enemies, kills the ghosts.
You see these moving blocks there that are going to be very important for level grinding.
Yes, so Megas is going to do his grind here. He's going to set himself up with a specific amount of experience by the end of it. Essentially, the whole reason we're doing this is you have to be able to swing the sword. You get a spell that you need for the final boss, and the only way to cast the spell is by swinging the sword. So they're going to need to set up for that. It's the only sort of instance of grinding in the game, but these guys give you 4,000 a pop. It goes really fast.
This is also the point where you can see how badly the experience scales, because I think when he started the war he had 100,000, maybe a little bit more, 120.
Yeah.
And now, ironically enough, I know we just gotta mention that. In order to be level 24, you have to have exactly the 420k experience.
Yeah, you can see the numbers that pop up. So next time he goes to fight enemies that aren't these glass things, just try and pay attention to the numbers that those enemies are dropping. And you see they're quite substantially less than what he's getting from these glass walls. Well, 2,700, it's still a pretty decent amount, actually. But Megas is doing math. I don't know why. Thought he was all about the no math. But yeah, if you're going to do the early grind, you really need to know a very precise number, which is going to accommodate for all the extra kills that he's about to go do now. Otherwise, you can just come back and do the grind after all of this, and then you just got to work yourself up to 408,000 and then move on to the boss.
So yeah, now we finally, we've already been talking about all the different enemies that we couldn't kill before in the previous worlds, and now is actually the time for redemption, to just go back to all the previous worlds and kill all those enemies that we couldn't deal with beforehand. There's actually a lot of hidden stuff and secret items that you can find if you backtrack through all the worlds and kill all the enemies that you couldn't deal with beforehand.
Yeah. Megas doesn't have the bubble armor on, not because he has enough health to survive the walk, but because he wants to lower his health for a death warp out of this place and back to the beginning of the world.
All right.
While we're going through some backtracking
Yeah.
here, this would be a great time to read
Absolutely,
some donations,
yeah.
right?
Agreed,
Great,
yes.
awesome, because I've got a lot of great ones here for you. I have $10 from Rai saying, here's a little something, my dude. We have $20 from Royal Blue Wizard saying, in honor of ever hate, forever blamed, forever loved. We have a $100 anonymous donation saying, donating for Soul Blazer. Grew up on this, on the game and wanted to show some support. Good luck to the runners of this game and upcoming games. We have $80 from Anonymous saying, big thanks to all of you. And lastly, we have $10 from Tiff saying, shout out to my friend Valentine. Here's to keeping the Disgaea 4 DLC incentive in the lead.
Thank you, everybody, for donating. This really means a lot.
So in order to actually be able to deal with the final boss, we not only have to have the Soul Blade and be level 24 to actually swing it, but we have to, as Jin already mentioned, we have to have a specific spell, the Phoenix spell, which is the only way of actually damaging the final boss. And to get that, we have to get 3 red hot items. They're scattered throughout the world. One of them we already picked, or Max already picked up in the final world, and the other 2 being hidden in world 2 and 3. Now he has already been in the underwater world, picked up the, I think it was a red hot stick.
The Phoenix resides on the stick.
Oh yeah. So now he goes back to the end of world 2, where he can actually kill these suns, I guess, yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what that is. Some sort of spirit.
Looks like a giant moving sun, so whatever.
Yep.
Now, yeah, this area that Stinger's in, I was mentioning, if you don't have the soul armor when you come into this area, I don't know if it's exact same timing, but basically every time that the ghosts sort of appear in the background, you start taking a whole bunch of damage.
Purple record.
Quintet's really like using the space background, don't they?
Yes, yes. Stinger doing some math here too.
374160. That's the number you need to have at the end of this grind.
The magic number.
So yeah, Magus picking up the final red hot, I think it's mirror here. Yeah. Just casually, the bird was just carrying the mirror around with him. It's
Yeah.
no big deal.
You gotta sneak up on that bird. He's kind of tricky. If you try to walk up to him from the front or the side, he'll just fly back and forth. And
What is with this game of
play with
birds?
It's, yeah. Can't be coincidence. Now we finally get to, I guess, make use of rescuing the king earlier, which we were talking about. Because you need the king in order to get the Phoenix spell, and you need the 3 red hot items. So we will all combine that into one visit to the king, because otherwise he would just ask you to just go grab the 3 red hot items.
Oh baby, it's time.
It's time, yeah, it's almost time, yeah. So the summoning ritual is quite specific. So get your dancing grandmas
Get your dancing grandmas.
in the chat, because we have the dancing grandma action.
I got mine in.
Spin, spin, spin. Dancing grandmas.
Woo!
Too fast!
I'm dizzy.
With that ritual, however, we get the Phoenix spell, which again is required to,
As soon as the Phoenix was called, Death Toll moved into position.
yeah.
If you go to the back room there by the teleporter, the castle's just not there. But after the grandma's dance, castle.
And with that, Magus is set to go straight to the final boss. He's got all the experience that he needs. He has the Phoenix spell, so he can just move right into the final boss. Now the final boss Death Toll has 2 phases. The first one being probably the most difficult in the entire game. I've said that 3 times now, but that's fine. just gotta, one up.
Oh,
one up all the time.
I thought you were being serious about this one.
Wait, I'm never serious about anything.
You haven't realized this by now?
Yeah. Agreed.
There is some strategy to Death Toll, though. He has 2 types of attacks. He will either shoot 3 fireballs or he'll shoot some lasers. You don't really want these to be happening at the same time.
Very well done.
That was fantastic.
Great first fight.
First try, incredible. So yeah, second phase. In the second phase, you actually don't see the health pool of the boss. But in this final boss part, it's all about reducing the lag because there's a lot of stuff going on here.
Yeah.
Whenever from his scepters, when these lasers come shooting out, and he does the fire, and we throw the Phoenix at him,
Yeah, it's super laggy.
it's a lot of lag.
He will not throw out the fire until he's in his invulnerability phase, or his vulnerability phase after you've taken out all 4 of the little flame pillars. So you can sort of hesitate and time it in a way that you're reducing the lag.
You have to kill these 4 flame pillars in order for him to be damageable.
Megs is on some good cycles right now. Yeah, you kind of want the lasers to be passing by as you're finishing off the last couple of those flame pillars. And time will be coming up as soon as Death Toll's face starts exploding.
That's unfortunate. You can see there the tremendous lag. That's especially if the flame pillars start moving from left to right or appearing left and right.
Yeah, there's 4 tiles in this arena that you can stand in and completely avoid the lasers.
Yeah, get ready on time, definitely. Yeah, the lag is insane. I think it should be one more.
That's time.
140 exactly, dude.
No!
Oh, no.
So close. I know, Stinger will head over and wrap up his Death Toll and
Yeah, gotta get Phoenix, and then I'll be on my way.
more Dancing Grandma hype.
By the way, the official timing on that was exactly 14000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Yes.
I blame that on the leg.
Yeah, always blame Flow too, yeah.
I mean, it would have been an easy 139 without the name, so.
Can't complain too much.
Yeah,
No,
I
you guys did great.
think overall it's still a respectable time for a marathon.
And even with that death, still pulling a 140 is nice.
I don't know if we're gonna have Stinger takes long enough to get to the best part of the credits, but probably not. No, it's probably still taking a long time.
Probably not.
No.
Too bad. But yeah, just to wrap it up. Again, if you haven't played that game, definitely give it a try. It's a very, very good casual game. Not only this, but also the other games in the trilogy. I guess Illusion of Gaia, Terra Enigma. Don't look at that, guys.
Don't let Bowie hear you say that.
I mean, this is the best game
Around
of the
here, no
trilogy,
boys.
so.
I don't see anybody
Yeah,
else,
he
that's
might just
fine.
say, "Loser guys do what now?"
Dancing Grandmas for the second time.
Dancing grandmas.
So basically at the ending, King Magritte essentially laments his mistakes and decides that he's going to spend his wealth to help the people and build up the towns and turn his life around.
Please come back alive. Good advice.
Yeah, that's the best advice.
Very encouraging.
How am I supposed to beat this this evil being? Please come back alive. Okay, thank you. All right, and Stinger coming up on the final boss.
I love how after you kill this robed figure, it shows like a little teeny version of Death Toll's head. Just little version.
Oh, I thought it was just a bat.
No, that's his head.
Amazing. Ooh, that was too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hitbox of the bosses, the head is very, very big. Kind of to stand somewhat in the area there.
I think it also helps that the hitbox of the Phoenix is also pretty decently sized.
Oh yeah. And now he's on a good cycle without any lag anymore. Should still be a sub 145, hopefully.
I'm gonna guess 145 or
Time should be coming up very shortly.
Yeah.
Time. Oh, that would have been it too. Good job, boys. Very impressive.
Still very, very well done, both of you. Great race.
Thanks for
Absolutely.
commentating, guys.
Fantastic.
You did a great job,
Absolutely.
dude.
No worries.
My king.
Good race. Cheers. GG, dude. Great race. Bit unfortunate about the World 5 stuff that happened to us.
Yeah. I don't know what I did. I just accidentally just changed off the medical orb right before the lava
Yeah, you
floors.
figure you take enough damage, but sometimes you get through so good that, you know,
Yeah.
it just doesn't proc.
Oops.
Yeah, I was actually surprised at how much health he had at that point.
Alright, I guess that's it from us. We're wrapping up. I think this guy
Yeah.
should be
Getting set.
setting up, be set up next. I hope
Yeah.
you guys enjoyed the run, and yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
thanks for watching.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and